Good morning. Good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show. It is Michelle Bryant here at WNOV 860 AM 106.5 FM. You are listening to Say Something Real. Now, I can the show and I think here what Key said, his mama said, we don't do a show, we do a program. Unfortunately, we do a show because we have entertainment, man, right out.
Oh,
Mr.
no,
Bug. So so it is a show over here. Because it's entertainment. Let me just say, hey Shelby, good morning. I saw you check in already this morning. What's happening, sis? Romel Brown, stop sweating me, bruh. Stop sweating me. Romel sending me text messages about work. Romel, stop sweating me. I see your text message. But good morning, good morning. Hey, Jermaine, how you doing this morning, fam? It don't take all that. It don't take all that. Just say good morning, man.
Well, 1 minute. Since I didn't see you this weekend.
I talked to you this weekend.
Yeah, but talking and seeing is two different.
Yeah.
Talking and I'm using my ears.
And I'm gonna just tell you. Let me just give you a little bit of womanly advice.
Woman advice.
So when you call Jermaine, and I don't know if you do this with everybody, but I'm assuming it's probably quite a few. I called Jermaine this weekend. He said, hello, love.
Yeah, only special people get that.
And then, I asked him some questions, and he was like, well, let me check on that for you. Huh?
Yeah.
Darling, I'll get back to you. I said, see, this is why you have problems right now. This is why you have, because see, every sister ain't equipped.
That's right.
Or, for the hello, love.
That's right.
Like, it don't mean nothing, y'all.
Yeah.
Calm down.
See,
he just talking.
Some people.
This is why you have problems.
See, but listen.
You need to just say hello.
I just figured this out, though. Everybody ain't a queen. So only the queens get the hello.
No, so now you're messing up.
Hello.
Because then it'll be sisters like, when I call him, he don't say hello, love to me. So, now you saying I'm not a queen. Yeah. So look, I'm just saying, Jermaine, keep it level and just say hello. That's why you stay in trouble. That's why you got stalkers hanging outside the radio station and people stopping me in Ross talking about, can you ask Jermaine to call me?
Well,
no, ma'am, I cannot.
See,
y'all
what happened
being messy
was
over there right now.
What'd you say?
Y'all being messy over
I'm
there.
not being messy. I'm literally trying to help this man.
She didn't already put it out there. So the first woman that call you and you don't go, hello, it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, it's gonna be hello.
Well, he don't put love on it. Hello, love.
See, what happened is, Shell.
That's why this Negro stay in trouble right here.
Respectfully, Shell.
And for the rest of you men,
he was out
listening.
there, man. Did you see JT?
No, I didn't see JT.
But you know what I found out?
What was that?
Alvin Turner is his son.
Alvin to play the horn.
That's his son.
Oh, that's why we get along.
Yeah, that's his dad. That's your brother.
Yeah, I think Alvin gonna be upset
to find out about you.
Yeah, to find out that JT had a long lost son that he knew all along.
Michelle, you know Alvin Turner.
I do.
Yeah,
saxophone. Yeah, JT is his dad.
Wow.
Yeah, I learned that. I think maybe one of the two Granville things back.
I found out yesterday. They walked up together like, we finna put this down right now. I'm like, this my dad. I'm like, no, this my son, right? Don't you hear that? Respectfully.
That's my dude. Well, hold on. Shell, you get the love because you're a queen.
Nah.
Some of these other chicks, they peasants. So
I'm just
they don't get the love.
I'm telling you right now.
Did you say they peasants?
This is why you stay in trouble. See?
Peasants.
You're on the radio, right?
Man.
He don't know.
They peasants.
And this is why you can't help him. Because you try to give advice and it go in one ear and out the other. It's like talking to Keon.
I know you're a celebrity and all, but
it's like talking to Keon.
You what you got? About like 1 year under your belt now in the radio thing. Trust me, man. You better be careful what you say. It come back to you.
He need to come.
Listen
back
here, man.
Because he trifling. I done tried to help him.
I sent it out like a boomerang. Hello, come right back around.
No, that peasant line is what's gonna come back around.
See, it's gonna
but
you
this
like
is the thing, though.
Too.
There are some queens in the city, like some beautiful queens that you got to roll out the red carpet with.
Nope.
But it is some peasants that you got to ask how many lumps do they want. They're like the Bugs Bunny cartoon. How many lumps?
I'm tired of you. Hey, Debo, how you doing?
was long on drawn.
Hell, I don't know how.
That was long
I'm trying
and
to
drawn
figure it
out
out right now.
So you got a call, by the way.
I see it.
I'm trying to figure out how I'm doing.
My glasses keep fogging up.
I
Yeah, it is.
certainly would be remiss if we didn't discuss the happenings of my long 2 weekends of Granville out there, man. But overall, I am good. I'm just tired. But you know, we got to do what we got to do.
Yesterday.
Is it over?
Yeah. Yesterday was the last day. And I got to tell y'all, the rain, when we say rain or shine, it didn't stop nothing, man.
Yeah, because I thought about you.
They got up under that tent. It was water. It looked like the river was running through there.
We done had rain a couple of times.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. It has.
And I mean,
luckily this time,
shut it down.
You know, there was so many people, but they have enough tents, and then the largest tent, and then they have the couple overflow tents, and all of them were full, but everybody was able to come inside and not have to be exposed to the elements, which was really, really nice. So the show went on as planned. Willie got up there and did his thing. Star Red performed on yesterday again, just as a kind of an icing on the cake, if you will. So, man, what an awesome display of black by black, faux black is what we're going to call it. Neva Hill, Craig Frenchie, all awesome job. Of course, the station was represented well. So we thank the community, and we'll be talking to them. They're going to come in and kind of do a recap and figure out what next year looks like. So, but long weekend to answer your question.
Well, I'll just, say this was the Granville Vid, though, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So I don't know if we really get to use the phrase "by black for black."
Well, it was ran
because I'm sure Granville Vid encompasses everybody.
It does. We're not racist like Jermaine. Because when I call him, I get what up, bro.
Yeah. So I'm just saying.
You know, you full grown man. I can't.
So you use a caller ID to determine who get the what's that you say when you call Michelle?
Hey,
hello,
love.
Hey, love. Hey, love. So, well, let me just say that the weekend was interesting.
What did you do? Because we didn't see you nowhere this weekend.
You know what? I passed by y'all yesterday, though. I did
Passing by.
I passed
like
by.
Saying you went to church because you drove by.
That's what you say. But anyway,
I
went to Ravinia in what is it? Highland Park in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to go see the OJs and Al Green.
Mm.
That was on Saturday. And yeah,
what was Al Green
fat
doing?
as a Thanksgiving
fat
turkey
as a
boy. What'd you say?
What were they doing?
Performing. So the Ravinia Festival in Highland Park. Beautiful venue.
Mm-hmm.
If you have never gone, I encourage you. There are a number of great shows coming up on their schedule. It's like a huge park, and there's a concert venue inside of this park, and then there are restaurants that line one side where you can eat out on the terrace, pavilions, and then like we do our jazz in the park, people bring their tables and chairs. You can rent tables and chairs, bring their own food, and that's all like lawn seating. But the music is piped all over this venue, and so it is. And I went a long time ago, and so I couldn't really remember a lot of it. But like, it's inside a residential area, so you have to like take shuttles to get to the venue. So, but they got it down to a science. It runs smoothly. I'm seriously thinking about going over on Wednesday to see Nas. He is going to be performing with the Chicago Philharmonic.
Wait, hold on. Say that again.
Nas.
Wednesday? Man, I want to go, but man, Bilal going to be here Wednesday.
I know. It's like so much good stuff happening all at the same time.
Question, Michelle, why don't we use our Washington Park band show?
Man, I wanted to have
in smarter ways.
I don't know.
Man, I wanted to have
because that's
bad.
kind of what it would remind you of. You know what? That's a really good.
Yeah, like let's talk about something.
That. That's a really good point because it was so well done, and so Morgan Freeman is going to be there with the Symphonic Blues Experience, Chicago Symphony Orchestra. There on August 1st. It was Earth, Wind, and Fire, August 7th, but Earth, Wind, and Fire is coming to Milwaukee. And an evening with Mozart. I'm definitely trying to see if I'm gonna be in town to go see Cynthia and Revo. Revo, I should say. She's gonna be there. So I mean, like the series, Lenny Kravitz is gonna be there on August 21st. I've been chasing Lenny Kravitz all around the country, trying to figure out when I can get tickets. So, but I think, and I got to check today, that may be sold out. Keith's boy, John Legend, August 23rd and 24th. You know, I bet he won't go. I bet he won't go. So yeah, so I did that. And let me just say, the OJs, what's the man's name? Is it Ernest? What's the members of the OJs?
I don't know. Eddie Levert is the only one I knew after that. Williams.
Walter
Williams.
Walter Williams. So he was performing. Eddie was not there because he has long-term COVID.
Right.
So he was having some flare-ups and symptoms, so he couldn't be there. So another brother was there. But evidently Walter Williams had been near death and extremely, extremely sick. And he is 81 years old. This brother looks so good and performed, did all the little dance steps and the moves. And they had a moment when they sung a gospel song, and one of the members actually got down on his knees to pray, for the well-being of Walter and these members. So that part was cool. And I'm gonna just tell you, the crowd up under the pavilion, because you could buy, so Keisha was just tapping me. She said Walter Williams was the only original OJ that was present. So we had reserved seating. So we were sitting in chairs up under the pavilion.
Reserved, huh?
You can say whatever you want to say, but you know how I live. Forget what you're talking about. You know how I live.
Right.
So we had reserved seating, but it was predominantly like, it was like the crowd was like 1 to 5 white people versus black people. It was so many, that crossover fan base that the OJs had. And people talked about, I think that Love Train was the song that crossed them over into mainstream music. But when Love Train came on, people got up out of their seats and literally formed a human train and was going all through the venue partying. It was one of the best concert experiences I have had in a long time.
And was it a mixed audience?
Yeah, mixed audience. But the train, when I said they was getting down, people all over the world, and I mean everybody joined in. They went all through the venue dancing. It was so good. I sat next to the coolest people, eclectic mix of people. So it was a great time. I will definitely say that. And then Al Green, like I said, plump as a Thanksgiving turkey, kept trying to pull his pants up, said his pants was coming down. And he was doing, he reminded me of Frankie Beverly, where that voice is starting to go. And so a lot of times he told the audience, he said, y'all, I can't hit that note. Y'all hit it for me. Y'all help me out. And, of course, the crowd knew all his music. But I had never seen Al Green perform before.
Really?
So I had never seen him. So I was so thrilled to be able to see him. And he is 79.
Yeah, I got a chance to visit his church when he had the location here in Milwaukee. And he can preach now. Now that he can do. He can preach. And
look, Dr. Myers is like, give props. The group, the OJs, the group was named after a DJ from Milwaukee who used to work for Wawa, WAWA.
Bobby?
Predecessor to WNOV. Eddie OJ was the man's name.
We had a Bobby OJ. We had a Larry OJ.
So, and I know I've heard that story and I've talked about it before, but that's where the OJs got their name from.
Now they're out of Philly, aren't they?
Yeah, because you got that whole, and they played music like, because they had the Soul Train theme song. You can hear that being played. So it was a really good show. And like I said, I would encourage people to visit. Somebody said, good morning, Michelle. Please know Debo was cutting up Friday. Wait, what? Let me see what happened.
Wait a minute.
Somebody telling you business.
Wait a minute here now.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait. Debo was cutting up Friday about his blind friend Ron that plays bass guitar at the Blues Festival. What was you doing?
I don't even know what they're talking about.
What? What was you doing? I know you remember.
No. I was just telling the folks that he was blind.
Who was this?
Ron, the guitar player.
For who?
Who did he play with? Oh, he played with
They
Tony.
said you had them on the floor.
Tony Washington.
Okay.
TNT.
Yeah.
Well, look. Let me get this caller who been on hold. Hey, caller, what's happening?
He missed a few.
Good morning, Mr. Michelle Bryant.
Y'all done talked him up. Good morning, JT.
You hear what I said, Michelle?
Good morning.
He missed a few cutoffs. He missed a few signals when you said stop. He played on a little further.
Hang on, JT. Debo did disrespectful.
He didn't see it coming. He didn't see the ending coming, so he's
You're so out of order.
they tapped him and said, "Okay, Ron, you can stop now."
So that's what you say about Stevie Wonder? That's what you say?
No, not Stevie. That was Ron I was talking about.
Yeah, but it sounds like it's the same.
Oh, I know what they're talking about. When I told him, I said, I seen Ron get into a fight one time. This dude kept on talking, and Ron got that cane. He tapped that cane, but he had a big old ball on the end of his. I didn't ever know what that ball was for. Found out that day. He tapping. That dude kept talking. And once Ron figured out exactly where he was, he whopped dude out cold he went. So, yeah. I made sure he didn't have that cane when I was talking about him, though, because, knock me out.
You are such
But that's what that was. That's what that was.
And let me just clean that up. The OJs from Canton, Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I said.
I thought they had that Gamble and Huff kind of a feel.
I think there was some feel and influence there, but they were from Canton. They were on the record label for Philadelphia International Records.
Okay, there we go.
But the actual group was out of Ohio. All right, JT, didn't mean to be disrespectful, but you know who I work with. You know who I work with. You know.
Yeah. I know the daycare center people.
That's right.
Jay Tizzle.
I love it.
No, good morning, Michelle. How you doing this morning?
I'm good.
Okay. No, I just want to call in and clarify something real quick. But first of all, I'd like to say good morning to that double legend, Mr. Debo.
How you doing there, JT?
I'm doing okay, sir. It was always an honor to meet you.
Yes, sir.
And I enjoyed
JT, once we met eons ago, we not meeting no more. We just running into each other, okay?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, right. We just bumped into each other.
There you go.
Yeah, okay, that sounds better. Okay. Yeah, you're right about that. Kind of made me feel creepy there for a little minute, but you're right.
Yeah. Y'all ridiculous, man.
And Mr. Jermaine, right out.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing this morning?
Man, I'm doing pretty good now that I heard from you there, sir.
Watch out now. Don't have no black cloud over your head and all of a sudden be struck with lightning.
Yeah, I don't want that.
JT, he was in here telling us that you was behind on child support payments. He said while you was out there walking around with your son, you was behind on his child support payments.
That's why I called it clear up. First of all, Jermaine, I was looking for you. I was hoping to see you, Jermaine, because I went through all that trouble to recondition my sniper rifle. You didn't show up.
Because I knew you had a target on me. I knew it. I got wind from the little bird.
He tried not to pay that back.
He was there a couple times yesterday.
Ducking and dodging.
Oh man, I missed him. Okay, but anyway, Michelle, I just called to clarify something. Alvin Turner is not my son.
He's not your son.
He's not my son. No, he's my third youngest sibling. You see,
that's right. That's his brother.
Yeah, it's my brother.
Oh, I was about to get jealous, JT.
I thought you came out and told me that was your
years old.
son.
Yeah, give me a few more years. They start out, because my father started his own band back in the middle 1960s up until the late 1990s, just before he passed. And he started off with me, but I went into the military at the age of 17. And then he called my brother Robert Turner, they was almost out of high school at the time. I'm talking about the 1970s, so I'm not going to hold you too long with this. But no, Robert Turner, he's my next sibling next to me. He played drums with my dad. My brother Calvin Turner that played bass. He passed. He passed
Calvin
2 years
away.
ago.
Yeah.
He was my
your dad used to play at Boobies, didn't he?
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember.
And Ernie G used to have me as a guest on this show every once in a while back in the days.
What was your dad's name, JT?
Turner, Calvin Turner.
Man, wait a minute. Hold on. So wait. So I know Calvin Turner Jr. He plays the bass now.
Booney.
Yeah,
Booney, right.
So that's your nephew.
That's my nephew, right?
Man, wow.
And then Jermaine. Oh yeah, but let's get back to Alvin. Now Alvin, because Calvin passed. Alvin, when he started out, he started off from Congo,
right?
Before he went to sax. So now he played congos and both tenor and alto sax. Well, yep, he's my third youngest sibling that's been playing in the band, starting with my father when my father used to have the James Turner Blues Band, and then with the James Turner and the Tornadoes back in the days. Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, they play all over the city. But man, if you know that much about my brothers, then you probably know a little bit about my dad and stuff like that.
Yeah, man. I know Calvin very well, man.
Well, he didn't know that them was his granddaddy.
I didn't know that y'all was related, man. I talked to Calvin often, and then I knew his father, before he passed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my dad. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that's my dad. Yeah, I'm the oldest in the family.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they're my younger siblings. And one thing, something else I found out about you, Jermaine. Are you from Little Rock, Arkansas?
Yep, Little Rock, Arkansas. Bearden, Little Rock.
They've been doing a little research on you, man. You better be careful.
Man. I got a duck.
How you come up with that? How you come up with that?
Because I was born in Warren, Arkansas. That's why I'm saying that.
Oh.
So that made Jermaine my homie, so I have to be careful when I mess with him.
Yeah, man, though you can't shoot me now, man. We family.
Oh, man, I'm disappointed, too. I got that electronic day and night scope on my rifle. I said, "Oh,
JT,
man.
We have children listening.
I know. I need to go. But anyway, hey, Michelle, thank you for
something happened to him, JT. They're gonna come looking for you.
No problem.
I know that's right.
Thank you, JT.
Okay, so everybody have a good morning.
You too.
All right.
That is
small walkie, man. Small walkie.
Listen, his family, really good people, man. I've been knowing the Turners for years and didn't know that's man. I'm gonna have to call Calvin.
I don't know why. I thought I heard.
That is crazy,
father.
Man.
Yeah, and you know what? And I knew brother, and I just wasn't even thinking about it. But I remember when he introduced me and pointed him out and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Wow.
Well, look. So can y'all imagine JT in the band?
JT will be playing cowbell. Playing a mean cowbell. Respectfully, turn me up. That's what they tell the sound.
Just don't ask him to sing.
Respectfully.
I don't know. JT
No, he probably can sing.
Yeah, man.
Because Alvin can go. Alvin got that range too.
Okay.
Hey, if it's one thing for sure, it's musicians all through that family. I love you. I don't know, man. JT might be a hell of a cowbell.
Respectfully, I love you.
I love you. And with all of my respect in the world, I really respect you, baby.
No, you messing it up, Jermaine. No, it's not.
Respectfully, baby.
No, Jermaine, you messing it up.
That's
right. Give me that other damn bell over there.
Okay, hold on.
See, and that's why this is a show.
Respectful. What's
no, you gotta
you sound like
beat the damn congos, man.
Okay, hold on.
And give me the bell.
Thank you.
Give me a beat. This dude. Respectfully, baby, I love you.
You hear that, Temple?
Oh my God! So look,
respectfully,
we going to commercial break because I can't.
Respectfully, baby,
I'm gonna try to regain control of this show. But that is why I don't have a program. Nothing quality is happening in here right now. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM.
Respectfully,
oh my God,
baby, I want you.
Oh, good job, please stop.
Respectfully.
Get this Luther on.
Wait, put the Luke on it. Yeah. Hey, let's go to break.
It's gonna be a long week. It's gonna
Thank you, Jesus, for the break.
It's gonna be a long week.
We'll be right back.
Your host, Bryant.
Police arrested Tremaine Jones in connection with this shooting. Investigators took him into custody at 2:15 this morning, just a few miles from that scene. The whole ordeal began shortly before 10 o'clock last night at 24th and Garfield. That's what you see here. Police responded to a call of a report of a person with a weapon. When they were shot, you see police with guns in hand and a canine rushing to the scene. News Chopper 12 with an exclusive look at the scene as the sun came up this morning. Investigators still out there combing through evidence, trying to figure out what led to this scene. Police finally cleared the scene around 7 o'clock, 9 hours after that shooting. Tonight at 5, we have a team of reporters covering this breaking story tonight. We begin with 12 News investigative reporter James Stratton. He's live at 24th and Garfield with what he's uncovered about the suspect. James?
And Blake, through police records as well as sources, we learned that that suspect, as you mentioned, Tremaine Jones, police records that we've obtained and court records show that he lived in this apartment complex here, just steps away from the alley where police say that shooting happened. That alley right here, just a couple of, or one block rather, from where those shots were fired. We spoke with one neighbor who witnessed it all unfold right here in this alley. What started as a fight and shots being fired turned into what Milwaukee Police Union and neighbors call an ambush of two police officers.
I was coming through the alley and I seen the cops looking in the bushes right here. And then all I seen is shots being fired. And then the cop hit the ground. And then the dude was like, "Oh, we need backup, we need backup."
This neighbor, who didn't want his name or face used, told 12 News Investigates suspect Tremaine Jones was hiding in these bushes in an alley near 24th Place in Garfield when he popped out and shot police. Police Association called it an ambush. Would you call it that?
Yeah, you can say that because they didn't know.
And he was hiding in the bush.
That's definitely an ambush. You doing something, don't nobody know about it yet.
It all unfolded around 9:15. Police say they arrested a suspect around 2:15, 5 hours after that shooting. Records 12 News Investigates obtained show police arrested Jones at this house near 37th and Villard, 4 miles north of that shooting scene. No one answered the door Friday morning at that home. Court records show Jones lived right next to the alley where the shooting happened. He has a previous resisting an officer charge and operating a vehicle without owner's consent, but received a deferred prosecution, which was completed in April.
Now, James, Jones hasn't been charged, but we are naming him through sources and arrest records. What is the next step for prosecutors here?
Blake, he was arrested at that home about 4 miles north of here, taken to Milwaukee Police District 1. According to the the police records rather that we've obtained, he hasn't yet been transferred to the Milwaukee County Jail. Once that happens, prosecutors can work to charge him if they deem that it is necessary to charge him. They have 72 hours to do so, to either charge or release per Wisconsin state law, Blake. And of course.
All right, y'all. So many folks by now have learned of the shooting death and the injury of an additional police officer, but the officer who passed away, Officer Kendall Corder, and I'm taking the story, and that was WISN, Channel 12 News, the reporting that they had done when they talked about the arrest of Tremaine Jones, the individual now suspected of killing Officer Corder. But just taken directly from the Journal Sentinel article, Kendall Corder loved being a Milwaukee police officer. That's what the family of the slain 32-year-old officer wanted the public to know of their son, who died nearly 3 days after he and his partner were shot. The two, both 6-year veterans of the department, were unexpectedly fired upon in an alleyway on the city's northwest side on June 26 while responding to a call for a person with a weapon. Quote, "He died doing what he loved to do," said Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson at a press conference. "It's admirable." Johnson spoke near Frederick Hospital on June 29th alongside Milwaukee's police chief Jeffrey Norman and Alex Ayala. I said that name incorrectly. President of the department's union for rank and file officers. Corder's family asked Norman to share the sentiment that he loved his work and he was proud of being a member of the department, the police chief said. They thanked the public for prayers. Quote, we have lost someone who loved his career, who looked forward to being part of the work to impact public safety in our community, Norman said. The three did not take questions. The procession, taking Corder's body to the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's office downtown, began around 6:11 p.m. As the procession began, officers could be seen with tears in their eyes as a stream of police vehicles left Frederick Hospital. In downtown Milwaukee, 2 fire trucks hung an American flag from their extended ladders at the corner of State and 9th Street as officers and paramedics lined the streets. The procession arrived about 20 minutes later with the wail of sirens. About 80 uniformed officers lined both sides of State Street, tracking the path Corder would take into the office. 5 officers in dress attire stood by the door, holding flags for the city, state, and the United States. Quote, at this moment, we are all in pain, Norman said as he asked for prayers for the department's officers. Residents lingered near the Milwaukee Medical Examiner's office to pay their respects. Terry Hale didn't know Corder personally, but he recognized him from the officer's work as a cop in the district. The two once met at a gas station and another time at a restaurant. Quote, it's on my heart, Hale said. It's a shame that we continually have to go through this stuff. Milwaukee police arrested 22-year-old Tremaine Jones on June 27th in the shooting that injured Corder and Officer Christopher McCray, who left the hospital on June 28th. The Milwaukee Police Department did not identify Jones in a June 27th statement announcing a suspect's arrest, but 2 sources confirmed the name to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, and he was listed in a police booking log. Jones is listed as in jail on about $200,000 bail, according to the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office jail roster. The Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel typically does not name suspects who have not been charged with a crime unless they are a public figure. The news organization is naming the suspect in this case because of the high-profile nature of the incident. Corder is the 6th Milwaukee officer shot and killed since 2018, and the first to die in duty since Officer Peter Jerving, who was shot and killed in 2023. The police shooting is at least the 3rd time an officer has been shot in Milwaukee this year. Another officer was shot earlier this month. Corder's death comes after a June 26 shooting near an alley in the 2200 block of North 24th Place around 9:22 p.m. A Milwaukee Police Department spokesman said officers arrested a suspect without issue at about 2:15 a.m. the next morning. The shooting occurred as the 2 officers were responding to a report of suspected firing shots near the area of north of 25th Street and West Garfield Avenue. As they approached the alleyway, police said they were unexpectedly fired upon. Corder and McCray were unable to return fire, police said. Megan Hart, a dispatcher with the Department of Emergency Communications, watched as the processions arrived at the medical examiner's office. She said that her second shift crew was on duty when the shooting happened. Quote, we were all just feeling a huge sense of loss and grief, said Hart. All we want to do is to bring them home safe every day. The Milwaukee Police Association, the union for the department's rank and file officers, described the shooting as an ambush. In a June 29th statement on Corder's death, the union said the 2 officers were responding to a domestic violence-related call when they were shot. The union said Corder suffered several gunshot wounds to his upper arm. At least 1 round struck his chest and caused severe internal injuries, including to his heart. He went through surgery, the union said. McCray had 2 injuries to his foot and back, the union said. He left the hospital 2 days after the shooting and was greeted by about 50 fellow officers who applauded as he exited. The shooting won't deter officers, the union president Ayala said during the press conference. Quote, rest assured, they will put on the badge tonight, tomorrow, and in the coming weeks, days and years to come to protect the citizens of the city of Milwaukee, he said. The procession ended around 7 p.m. at the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's office. Police officers huddled near the police chief as he stood beside the Corder family. He told his officers to support the family who lost a man who loved what he was doing, who loved what he did and died doing it. Quote, don't let anyone use anything but the love of each other to support us through these tough times, Norman said. So a number of people texted me regarding the shooting death of Officer Corder and the injury sustained by his partner, who was just 29 years old. And I'm just making sure I pull up his partner's name. I'll find it. But I received a number of calls regarding these two officers. And, the one thing that without fail people said, and, I'm going to talk about this through a number of different lenses this morning, but one of which is through the lens of race. A number of people in texting me and talking to me yesterday, they said, if I can be candid, this is the way pretty much it all started. If I can be honest, if I can, just say this, it hit differently. And the people that I was talking to primarily were African American, but they said it hit differently. And, some of them said, I'm not sure if it was because I'm African American. It was a young African American officer. He reminded me of my son. He reminded me of my brother. He reminded me of a neighbor, it just hit very differently this time. And you had to sit there and be willing to hear people speak honestly about it, to take it in, and to, understand. And this was some of the conversations that I had with a couple of people, that we've seen this happen before. And a number of people, because of community and policing relationships, sometimes which are not the best. Other times, a lot of us actually have personal relationships with officers, have officers in our family. My brother's former law enforcement. We have, people that we see, you saw officers at Juneteenth, you interacted, you hung out, you talked, you see them throughout the community. And so people have mixed emotions when it comes to law enforcement. Nobody wants to see anybody die in this way. Nobody. And so one of the things that I said to a couple people, because I couldn't say it to everybody just because of the emotion of what people were watching and the way it was covered in the media, and you felt connected, is that same feeling is what other folks feel, i.e. white people, when a white officer is killed. This should not break down along racial lines, but this is no different than any other arena, whether you're talking about competition in sports, whether you're talking about just, any interaction. People's internal preferences, biases, prejudices can show up when you least expect them. And so one thing was to make it a teachable moment. That feeling you feel when we say it hit different, that's the feeling that other people have. And yes, there are communities that don't have the experiences with law enforcement that the Black community has, or many in the Black community have. And so we know we all look through this stuff through a different lens. These are not easy conversations to have. There were moments when the union rep who was speaking about the ambush of these officers, when he was talking, and you have to try to give grace, because at certain points some of his comments was pissing me off, because Milwaukee overall is not this horrible place in which these things happen, consistently. There are more decent people and good people in the city than there are people that's up to no good and BS. But when people are talking about stuff through the framework of pain and frustration, when it comes out, you got to be willing to give a little bit of grace. And that's what I had to go back and do yesterday, because, my initial response is, I don't see the damn union nowhere when y'all do dirt, though, and apologizing to nobody for officers that do the wrong thing. You don't see that regularly. And so those things jade the way you respond when horrific incidents like this occur. So the one thing I would just say to our community is that everybody needs to be able to give a little bit of grace, to just understand how people are mourning, how folks are processing what has happened, and how it's talked about. This is a difficult thing to watch. Jermaine, you had said something about seeing photos of the young brother playing with his children.
Yeah, I saw video of him playing with his kids in front of his house, and they showed it on the news. I think it was Fox 6 or Channel 4. One of them, they showed him outside playing with his kids, and it was just so sad that the young man lost his life in the line of duty. It's so sad, man. It's so sad.
And there's a photo that the Journal used in their story of Kendall's father, Raymond Corder, who was actually pinning his badge on his son at the graduation ceremony back in 2019. And so to see this image of this black father, who from the side profile looks a little bit like Jesse Jackson, actually, handsome brothers, and to see this father pinning that pin on his son,
it's a proud moment.
Yeah, proud, hugely proud moment. And and as you pray that my child makes it home, it's just crazy. It is a crazy thing to witness. So just know that the community, there is an outpouring of love and respect for officers that put their lives on the line like this. It transcends, I think, in more times than people realize, it transcends race, because when I call 911, I'm not worried about if a black officer or a white officer shows up. I just want to see an officer. And if they are coming to help me, I am there and thankful and appreciative for that help. But we can't act like that the nuance is not there, that the elephant in the room does not exist. And it just is a great reminder to put ourselves in other people's shoes and to just think about, how we handle people, how we talk to people, how we treat people. But to the family of Kendall Corder and Christopher, and I'm looking because somebody texted me, said, Michelle, the other cop's name, all the officer's name is Christopher, and all of a sudden now, Christopher McCray. So to the family of Officer Corder, we share the sentiments that so many have expressed. We are so sorry about the loss of this young man. Everybody does not step up to do these kinds of jobs. These are dangerous jobs. People understand that when they take on these assignments, but that doesn't decrease the danger any less. And there are people that literally, some jobs you go to, it's just taken for granted. I'll see you at the end of your workday. But these are the kind of jobs when these folks walk out of the house in the morning, there's always a little thought in the back of your mind, God, watch over them, because I don't know what the day will bring for them. And then with everything crazy we see happening in the news around us, so hopefully Officer McCray got a bunch of support at home. His recovery will be speedy. And much respect to the department and to the officers who had to lose a fellow colleague in this way. The one thing I will also just say is that Chief Norman, who just actually got reappointed in his role as chief, much respect to this brother. Much respect. I mean, you can think whatever you want to think about, Jeff Norman, the police department overall, but that is not an easy job. God knows it's not. And the thing that caught me about him standing there is that Chief Norman had just gone through his own situation. His home had someone attempt to enter his house. And if you had not heard that, a man was arrested after attempting to enter, and I'm taking this from the Journal Sentinel, attempting to enter Milwaukee Police Chief Jeff Norman's home on June 25th. So this shooting happens on the 26th. On the 25th, he was just coming through a situation, being worried about his own, safety and his own family's safety. A Milwaukee Police Department spokesman said a 67-year-old man was seen trying to gain entry to a home around 7:14 p.m. before he was arrested. 2 firearms were found in the area, the spokesperson's email said. They declined to confirm the address of the incident was Norman's, citing victims' rights laws. However, property records show Norman owns a home on the block a police spokesperson cited, and the law enforcement sources confirmed the incident occurred at his home. Norman was not home at the time, the sources said. Police officials have referred the case to the Milwaukee County DA's office and continue to investigate. Norman couldn't be reached immediately for comment. The incident happened the day before Norman's reappointment as police chief was set to be voted on by the Fire and Police Commission, the hiring body for the position. This is not the first time a police chief's home has been subject to a crime. Former Milwaukee Police Chief Alfonso Morales' home was shot into in 2017 and resulted in a 22-year-old man being sentenced to 6 years in prison. So just think about that. Chief Norman has a family, and you just don't know. We see these cases of judges whose homes have been entered and people shot and killed, lawmakers, legislators. We live in a real interesting and crazy time. And there are people that are saying, like, there are things happening in this country right now that we've associated with other places around the world. It is nothing in this most recent spate of years for folks running for public office in Mexico to be gunned down in open, in the public view, at political rallies, at events, women and men, cartel members, people that didn't want to see certain people get into office. They have killed these people. Then we think about, what's going on in Idaho and the firefighters who basically ambushed as well. Right now, they believe in the suspect. They believe that initiated all of this, either killed himself or was killed. But you set a fire on purpose. And when firefighters come into the area to fight the fire, you start shooting at these people.
And the scary part about that is the firefighters have no way to protect themselves.
No.
There are no weapons. There's no nothing. So you can't, going into a situation that you're thinking that you're coming to save someone, and you end up having to save yourself from gunfire is just, it's crazy because it's going to make a lot of firefighters and police officers and paramedics and, it's going to make them think every day about their job when they get these calls. Am I coming back to the station? Am I coming home?
And particularly in the firefighters' case, for a very different reason.
Yeah.
Because, primarily is how bad is this fire? Getting hurt on the job. You don't think about that I could be the victim of a gun violence. Yeah. Although there are firefighters, depending on which areas you work in, that also is a element. Yeah. And I think about the number of firefighters that have had to come to our home because of Lakeisha's mom's medical care, and different things. And so the fire department has frequently had to respond. And, these officers know us now. They come in the house. They know the house. They like, hey, what's happening?
Yeah.
What's going on? And you see these people on a regular basis. The idea that 2 firefighters are now deceased because, and now that the suspect is gone, now they got to go back and try to piece together what was going on with this individual that caused them to do this. We've heard some very disturbing things about Tremaine Jones that makes you wonder about mental health of this cat, because, there were some people that are reporting that he did it just to be doing something.
Just to be doing it.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
and other folks that will get upset. Well, he had been in trouble before. He was riding in a car that was a stolen car. He wasn't the driver, but he was riding in it. Judges have to meter out discipline and justice in a way that you don't go overboard. He didn't kill anybody at that point, didn't have no extensive record. So you making these judgment calls. You never know. And before we get too harsh on judges, think about how many people we have had in our life and in our circle that we trusted that later we found out they shouldn't have been trusted.
Yeah, think about, just being in the judge's shoes, looking at this young man thinking, hey, I'm going to give him an
Trying
opportunity.
to get somebody an opportunity.
I'm going to give you an opportunity to clean yourself up.
And there was nothing in his background that indicated that, this could happen, just a short while later. So, I just, like I said, grace we use that word, we hear that word, particularly if you are, in the faith community or religious in some way. Grace is an interesting concept, and it's hard to do sometimes. But, I have people ready to jump on the judges. Like, y'all, these people are doing the best they can in most cases with what they have. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let me turn the radio off.
Okay.
Sometimes you sit on hold and you kind of forget what you want to say. First of all, let me send my condolences to the fallen officer and his partner and families. The young man is a victim himself. I find myself feeling sorry for him also. And I say that because you just look at June, the young man who killed his sister. That's 2 people. This young man and the officer, that's 4 people. The little girl laying in her bed and the bullet coming in her house. That's just 5. The 14-year-old from 46 in Hampton. That's it. Now, they won't have none of them. That's 18 more. So you're talking about 24 people. They had a couple more. Look at the numbers. You'll hit 60 real quick. We're eradicating ourselves with stuff like this. You understand what I'm trying to say?
No. Yeah.
We're eliminating ourselves. It's sad. I found myself thinking, I wish that young man I wish I could have bumped into him and he was saying, I'm thinking about killing a cop, and I would have did my best to talk him down, to talk him out of that. You know what I'm saying? And as men, that's what we got to do with our kids. We got to grab our kids. I had my 15-year-old grandson with me. And I guess all I can do is explain to him what happened and what the ramifications for that young man is going to be, to make it hit as hard as he can. I said, he'll never, ever walk free again. Never walk down the street without being escorted or in handcuffs for the rest of his life. And he'll live in a cage. I try to hit him with that type of stuff, because at 15, he's not that far away from being 22. I'll just tell him how this young man made a rash decision and threw his life away. And I'd also like to say, we have to, as men, we have to figure out a way when it comes to our people to try to right this, quit fight, as Black men and women, let's quit fighting each other and fight for a cause for our kids and our future. It's just sad. I'm kind of at a loss for words with all this. Find myself getting depressed looking at it, at all this young life just destroyed.
Yeah, it definitely is a lot to take in the process. And when you begin like you said, to look at all of the incidences and take them in the totality, it is a lot happening around us right now, and how we are dealing with this and processing it. I think it's worthwhile to also look at this stuff over the years, because we talk about, whether homicides are up or, murders are down. And, that phrase, we're taking ourselves out, that's not a new phrase. We've heard that before, when we've seen high incidences of crime in our communities. I guess I keep trying to figure out, as we talk about solutions, and, you're saying, hey, I wish I had an opportunity to bump into this young brother, but how do we even get to that point? The work that has to be done, to prevent this from happening. And that's the part where I get frustrated and concerned, because frequently when there are budgetary concerns in a community, in a city, in a state, even at the federal level, social programming and all of those things that are put in place to help deal with the overall well-being of people are the first things we cut. They're the first things that go out the window. And, so it's so much that leads to how you get to a mindset that you're capable of doing this.
Can I say something, Michelle?
Yeah.
Touching on that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take a whole bunch of time.
You're all right.
I guess I was blessed. We grew up with what I like to say is guardrails, which would have been Mr. Coleman across the street, Mr. Johnson across the alley. Those are guardrails. And if they seen us doing something that was going to let us fall off the road, they would put us in our place and protect us from going over that cliff. And I'm asking the brothers, the adults out here, let's do what we can. People say kids won't listen. How do you know if somebody won't listen or can even hear if we don't try to talk to them? And this is just my challenge to the adults and especially the men. Let's try to be those guardrails. We understand the social stuff, but it don't cost nothing to just try to talk to a kid. See what's on their mind. It ain't got to be your kid. It can be your nephew. It can be the kid across the street. Try to earn their trust. That's free. And let's try to be their guardrails. Again, we need the backing of our women. Let us get in a fight as men. Let's go out the men. Quit swinging from behind the women, and let's stand in front of them. Women, get off of me while I'm in the fight. Hand me a little water and be my cut man should I get cut. We have to work together, and that don't cost a lot. We have to reach out to our kids. If you saw a white child walking down in the mall, 3 years old, white people say, where's his parents? If that child was a 3-year-old black child, the first thing we'll yell is, where is his mother? We're omitting the man, but giving him a pass for not being a man.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me just say this. The data also shows, to the point that you said, I feel sorry even for the shooter in this case, because there was a study that was done that showed, and I think the age of the little girl was somewhere between 6 and 8. They put 2 girls in a mall, one black and one white, and they just had them standing there by themselves. The white little girl, everybody stopped to ask her, was she okay? Black and white people that were in the mall stopped to ask the little girl, where was her mother? Was she okay? They put the same age, similarly dressed black child, black girl in the mall. Nobody stopped to ask her. People just not black or white. People just walk past and watch them. So that's that part where somebody say, how can you say I feel sorry for the shooter? I am saying if Milwaukee County comes in here and talks about the social determinants of health, all of these things play into the mental and physical well-being of people. I gotta take a break.
Well, I wanted to ask you real quick, because I know you made as I listen to different dialogue taking place this morning, there's a spin here or my warp line. Yet, as we deal with this other community, there's still a blessing to learn. And the reason I said it is because typically, I'm going to be sure I'm phrasing the words right, our surprise is who else there is. He's a black man, dead this morning, because they could have made that look any way they wanted to, because you
mean, that definitely. I mean, well, I'll just say this: it's such a high profile case. You know, we can talk about this. We know certain people walk away, some people don't. Plays into that, but this is so high profile. People also know had that wake up dead, and you couldn't explain it justifiably. You could have easily shifted some of the outpouring of support because shooter or not, if you're not resisting, you're not doing anything like that, you're supposed to still end up alive, and not take
That ain't always been the case.
Yeah, no, I know. I said that's why I said the same way the top profile that they released um, the shooter's name is so high profile that also most likely could guarantee that the shooter does not get home. Say this real quick too before I go to break. Um, Good morning, Michelle. This is Ernie G's daughter. My family appreciates all of the prayers and support. Just wanted to say my cousin, Kendall, so this is the officer, loves his nieces and nephews dearly. And that was who he was praying that Jermaine was referencing. He does not have any children of his own. Listen to as I do, Jay. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Your daddy's there comes in every other day around the station.
Just danced with Maggie yesterday.
Yeah, I thought about her when I was at the house. So let me go. To break. We'll be right back.
Here's your updated forecast. We'll see scattered showers possibly today with partial sunshine, developing high in the mid-80s.
All right, family, welcome back. So let me just take a second. I'm coming to the phone line, but I got a text message. I hadn't seen it, so I just went and pulled it up during the break. Someone sent me something that said Scott Walker or someone in his Facebook group said that Hannah Dugan was the judge in that guy's case, in Tremaine Jones's case, and that's why she should not be on the bench. Hannah Dugan, who, involved in the immigration arrest situation, and right now trying to figure out what's going to happen to her as she has been charged. She, in fact, was. The records do indicate that she was the judge who gave the deferred prosecution to Tremaine Jones in the riding in a stolen vehicle case. Let's be clear, and I'm going to say this again. First of all, this is, people kill me when we want to start pointing fingers and da da da, and taking an opportunity to grind an axe or make a case, like or make a point, I should say. Cut it out. Just stop it. Because again, these are people making decisions with the best information they have in front of them. There was nothing that said this man should have been thrown under a jail for riding in a stolen car. There's nothing that said that could predict that this is what would have happened. But people will use someone's personal tragedy to try to make a political point or a statement. And it's just like, stop it. Because all of this, we're going to be extra tough on crime, but you ain't tough on the white collar crime. You tough on property crime. You tough on, assaults, but you ain't tough when people are stealing millions and millions of dollars and bankrupting people and making people lose their houses, like in the housing foreclosure scandal, or like I said, any kind of white collar crime. But the impacts are just as detrimental. People lose everything, become homeless, can't feed their children. The impacts and can, in fact, be even more detrimental. So people like miss me with the tough on crime BS, because you're only tough on certain kinds of crimes committed by certain types of people. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hey, good morning, Michelle.
Good morning.
Good morning, community. You know what's interesting about what you just said? We don't have to go too far back. Darrell Brooks, no judge or no DA person was ever talked about in terms of letting him off for $500 after he ran his girlfriend over. And yet he goes out to Waukesha and kills 6 people running through the parade. So that was recent. Right. And so you're right. They have all kind of discretion. Now, whether you agree with the discretion or not, that's not your expertise. You may not, but they've always had that kind of discretion. And a lot of times, it ain't often that it backfires, but in that case, it backfired also.
Right.
So I understand what you're saying, because there's too much in that system that we can also always talk about when it comes to Black folks and crime and punishment and law and order. But I think it becomes more than just black and white to me. It just becomes what's right and what's wrong. But it's like you said, it's subjective, because there's subjective decisions that get made that are way more than my IQ or my expertise can deal with.
I agree wholeheartedly, Tyrone. In fact, it just reminded me of something else that's going on today. A reference that, these people got to take in a whole bunch and process and, figure out best way forward. And when you look at overcrowding in our prisons, when you look at a system that's already under a great strain, functioning with, half the officers in terms of Department of Corrections that they need, half of the money, half of the programming. It is a huge challenge to try to figure out who stays, who goes. But there are also parameters within the law that says these are the charging ranges. I mean, the sentencing ranges. So, judges still, while they have discretion, they also do have, like, I can't give you life for riding in a stolen car. That's not permissible under state law. So, so it's a double-edged sword. I think people doing the best they can with what they have, though.
That's all they can do. And we pray for the Corder family, that he rests with God, but also just know that I always say this: as an African-American man, I don't know, every day I leave the house, I don't know if I'm coming back from any number of reasons. And so, and I say the same thing about those in fire services and police services. The life has changed now that you don't know if you're going to come back home, because so many things can happen. You could be sitting somewhere and some fool run in and start shooting. Or like you said, it's hard to process it. And then I'm trying to process it for my great grandchildren and for those little ones that I see smiling and saying they don't have a clue what's going on in this world, but yet this world can take their lives at any time because has gotten so sick and so, guns have become the issue for number of us. But they, as much as he wanted to get rid of birthright citizenship, he didn't want to get rid of the right to bear arms.
Right.
They just talk through the Constitution, trying to figure out those things that they think gives them some control, and yet the right to bear arms is not for individuals. It said malicious, and so I don't know. We don't have all the answers, but some people who do need to try to enact them, and those of us who want to see them do that, we stay on their case, whether on trying to do something.
All right. Thank you, Tyrone. I appreciate the comments. It's a lot. It's a lot to process, but it made me think about, so a year and a half ago or so, 27 inmates down at the county jail to complain about conditions and treatment inside the jail, barricaded themselves inside the library. This was August 12th, 2023. 27 people participated in this. They all ended up being charged with obstructing an officer, disorderly conduct. Out of all 27, I think only one of them has been, is actually going to end up facing trial on these charges. And I was looking at this because here you have people who barricaded themselves in the library. They called it a mass refusal. The jail got put on lockdown. The inmates barricaded themselves for over an hour, had negotiation teams trying to deal with them. They finally were able to get the emergency response team to use pepper spray, break a window to get into the library. Inmates got put back in their cells after being examined after the pepper spray. An officer was taken to a hospital for treatment for an injury. 3 other officers were treated at the jail themselves. And one of the men that was charged, a guy by the name of Stephen Bailey, he said, quote, "I feel like the system is really terrible in there." Said his mom, she was talking about what was going on with them. You're still a person, you're still a human being, and you should be treated better than what they're being treated. Bailey had been locked up since his arrest back in March, and they said he was charged with raping a child several times over several days. So they list all these people, and I had to go back and just think about, you got judges in that moment that are making decisions like, what do we do? District attorneys, okay, here go the charges. Were the conditions awful that you were protesting? I don't know. I don't have that information in front of me. But like I said, ironically, you didn't hear anything else about this case. People talked about this was civil disobedience in an understandable response to horrific conditions in the jail, which have been ignored or deliberately created by the sheriff's office for years. That's what Ryan Clancy said as a Milwaukee County supervisor at the time. There are all these extenuating circumstances. People will commit a crime. People will do something wrong. But you got to take the totality of the situation at hand. This is a perfect example of that. Because nobody could deny that the conditions that these inmates were under were horrible. So they act out. And somebody got to decide who we prosecute, who we throw the book at, what we do, what kind of additional time you get. This is just not a system that I envy. It needs a lot of work. We got a whole bunch to do before we can feel comfortable about saying that, justice gets served, is meted out fairly, because we know it's not. We know it's not, and we know that happens every day. So I'm a transition over to, other things, but this required a lot of time this morning, because to use that phrase that everybody did, it hit differently. When you understand the youth of this officer and his partner, people just getting started in their careers, people don't deserve to die like this. The firefighters in Idaho, you don't deserve to die like this. Other officers who have been harmed and hurt. And, we will just say other people, because when the caller called, he listed off folks that had been killed, harmed from all walks of life in all kinds of professions, some just children. So we will just say, we got work to do. We got work to do. I think that there are so many examples of people that's just disrespectful and out of pocket with each other. And this becomes commonplace. Jermaine had talked about going to a funeral in which the man had left a gas station and accidentally bumped into somebody exiting the gas station.
No, corner store.
I'm sorry.
51st and Center. Yeah.
Corner store.
Yeah.
And the response of this young person was to turn around and shoot this gentleman multiple times and kill him. And it's like, I bumped into you.
On accident.
Yeah, what are you doing? There was no aggression, no testosterone flying around in the air. My bad, bruh. And you still end up being, losing your life behind it. So we just got to we got work to do. And we got to be honest about, what we see in the folks that's going through our families and our communities that are struggling. And I know it's tons of people who say, look, I've been trying for years to get so-and-so help. And these people not listening. I've been trying for years to get, people what they need, and they're not listening. And we're going to create additional, issues. I'm just being honest. The budget that the Senate is looking at now passing for the Trump administration, some of these cuts and the we're making really bad choices and decisions. Let me take a break. I'll be right back.
Bryant on WNOV.
All right, family, welcome back to the show. A couple of quick things. First of all, let me take a minute. Ernie G's daughter checked in. Let me also acknowledge my man Keon Jackson Malone. He just would have had a birthday on the 28th. And, you know, on your Facebook stuff, his picture and images show up in your feed. And, you know, the reminders say happy birthday to Keon Jackson Malone. I know a lot of people thought about that brother on his day and beforehand. And so I just wanted to, you know, it still seems surreal that this brother is not with us and so young. And so young. It reminds me of what the comedian said at the show last weekend when he talked about basically the luck of the draw, how some people, you get 32 years, you get 47 years, other folks get 105. And then he did something real messed up. He was like, Michael Jackson gone, Rebe Jackson still here. In terms of the quality of their music, I was like, you wrong for that. You wrong for this whole skit. But just wanted to take a second to acknowledge that. And before I look at the Supreme Court and the decisions that had people reeling going into this weekend, this past weekend, let me just take a second. You know, it's so funny how you think you're going to do one thing in your one way, and people will come into your life that change you. This is the simplest, most unimportant thing, but it really caught me and it made me think this weekend. So I am in the parking lot of Nordstrom's, or not, no, Home Goods or somewhere. I'm in the parking lot. I'm sitting in my Jeep and I'm talking on the phone to Judge Taylor, and me and her chatting. And I noticed this little Mexican girl is standing outside of my truck window. I see her when she gets out of her family's car or van or whatever they were driving, and she comes and stands by my window. So I let my window down. I said, yes. And she said, I love Jeeps. And I said, okay. And she said, but you don't have any ducks. Can I give you a duck? And I said, yeah, you can give me a duck. So she goes back to her family's vehicle. And I don't know if this is like an older brother, because he looked really young. So I don't know if this was her older brother or, you know, family member that was driving. But he just kind of stood there and watched her. She went in the van that they were in and came back with a red duck and gave me this duck. And for people that don't know, I've talked about this before. Driving a Jeep makes you a part of like a community. So when you see other Jeep drivers, they usually throw up the peace sign when you riding by. You know, black, white, it does not matter. Wherever you are in the country, you see another Jeep driver. You usually, like, if you can see them, it's usually low, right over the steering wheel. You see somebody throw the peace sign. Okay, so that's a thing. And then collecting these ducks is a thing. So you will see Jeeps that drive by and they got a window, ducks lined up all the way across the window. I personally am not a fan of the ducks, not because I don't think it's cute or anything, but I don't like clutter. I don't like a bunch of stuff. You know, on some things, I'm a minimalist, except for books. So I don't like a lot of stuff. And I definitely don't like a lot of stuff in my car. And so people give me ducks and I accept them as just a courtesy, but I give them away. I don't keep them because I don't want all them ducks in my window in my car. So this little girl gives me a duck and I immediately put it in my window, and she smiles and I tell her thank you and how much I appreciate it. And she walks away. And I kept talking to Judge Taylor. She was on the phone the whole time I was talking to this little girl. And so me and Lena finish up our conversation, and I'm getting ready to get out the car. And I just stop and I sit and I look at this duck. And I start smiling. And I can tell I'm getting old because I even teared up a little bit. because I had a hard and fast rule. I don't want ducks in my window. That duck is in my window right now. The damn thing slid all over my dashboard all weekend while I was driving. And I was like, see, this is exactly what I'm talking about with this little dang, this duck. So I figured out a way to lodge it in the corner of my window so that it doesn't move. And now this little red duck is riding with me all over town. Why did I bring it up? Because you can think you know what you will and won't do, what you like and don't like, what's important and not important. And then there will be people that will come along. What are they? That thing, God puts people in your life for a reason, a season, whatever, just a moment. That little girl and her act of kindness, her gesture, made me change what I said I would not do. And as long as I have that Jeep, her red duck will sit in that window. Be somebody that is open and willing to change or to think about why you do things that you do. But that act of kindness will stay with me forever. She didn't have to do it. She didn't have to do it. And so I just wanted to share that, because as crazy as things are, as awful as the news is, as many times as we question, young people and what's happening, there's so many examples of young people doing the right thing every day that are exceptional and brilliant and kind and thoughtful. And we don't tell their stories enough. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. The kid that's in trouble, that's who we spend a great deal of time talking about. And so I just want to say, yes, how much I appreciate that baby. Somebody said, I almost spit out my coffee when you said the duck slid across your dashboard. It did. And I was fussing. I said, see, this is why I want this mess in my car. But I was not taking that duck out that window.
I don't know if you can or how it works. I know a young lady that, because I noticed one time I seen her, she had this whole string of ducks across her dash.
Yeah.
So I says, what happened to your ducks? She retched in the back seat. You heard that word retch? and set it up there. It was a whole panel of them that you just sit it up there when you want it and take it down when you don't.
Yeah, I mean, because the way my car is, my air conditioning vent goes the entire length of that window. Mm-hmm. So the air, when I had an air on, is pushing those duck, that duck around. But I just
and that may be why she takes it down
yeah. But I don't like clutter. Like, me and Keisha go to rounds about her car.
But see, not for me,
because she keep a whole bunch of BS in her car. Church lady, tissue boxes.
Oh Lord,
all
don't do it.
I'm like, dude,
don't do it.
Your car is not an extension of your closet. Get all this crap out your car. People shouldn't have to move everything around to sit down when you say you need a ride. Man, you mess with Keisha, you'll be cleaning up for 30 minutes before you can leave, old junky car.
Wow.
And then to pay that kind of money for a car and it be junky.
But see, that's when you know. That's when you know it's her truck, when you see the ducks.
Yeah.
Because her man wouldn't have them ducks up in there.
Yeah, I'm just.
Or maybe you would.
No, it's a lot of dudes got ducks.
See, there you go, Jermaine.
Hey, man, that's a conspiracy. Man.
But it's a lot of brothers. It's a thing, and it's a lot of, particularly like.
You mean his brothers running around with the.
It's
duck goose.
Because it's a thing. It's a community. It's a cultural thing.
Okay.
It's a community of ducks.
It's a community of Jeep owners.
Oh.
Who do stuff.
So what's the correlation, if you will, between the ducks and the Jeep?
It's just the Jeeps are considered these fun, spirited things to do. Somebody started it. It's stuck. And it's just one of those things.
I don't know. I think it's.
I'm sorry that you lack drivers and you binge drivers don't have them.
Hey man, us binge drivers got lions and panthers in our dashboard. Ain't that right,
Debo?
Don't
speak to each other.
Man.
Don't get mad at them. Yeah, don't get mad at the.
They drive right by and roll headlights.
You know, because we chatted up with each other. Don't get mad at us. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Michelle, excuse me. Quick call.
Yes, JT.
My brother Alvin Turner. I was helping him take the equipment out of his car before he started. Guess what he drives?
What?
A jet black Jeep Cherokee.
Okay.
See,
what you say? You know what I'm talking about, huh?
JT.
I didn't know. I didn't see any ducks. Wait a minute. Yes, sir, Mr. Debo.
That's not the Jeep they're talking about.
Well, that's why he didn't see any ducks in his Jeep, though. He saw
no
snakes and snails.
You said he got a
Cherokee.
He got a Jeep Cherokee. Yours is
she's like
okay. So
in that Wrangler family, JT.
That's why JT didn't see no ducks.
Not the SUV.
Michelle.
But the off-road vehicle, the all-terrain vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay, Michelle.
Yes.
Your Wrangler.
Yes.
Do you have like a removable top or anything like that on that Wrangler?
Yeah, everything comes off of it.
Oh man, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, everything.
I saw everything off of that one yesterday. When it started raining, she tried to get up under the building to try to. It was bad for her. Yeah,
but that's why you carry the cover, because they got like a car cover.
Oh,
they got a Jeep cover. You just throw over it. It's like if I have everything off, I just had a Jeep cover over it, even when I park, because I don't want birds dropping stuff. And
man, I gotta
just
chill.
can't. Thank you, JT. Thank you for the call,
Michelle,
bro.
Real quick, Michelle.
Yes.
Real quick. Since you don't have to use a step ladder to get into your Wrangler, I'm gonna leave that alone. But I just like to say one thing about Saturday, Michelle.
Yes.
I think I saw Mr. Keith Paris. So I'm gonna call this show and ask him that. But I thought I saw
he probably
Mr.
was
Keith
in and
Paris
out of there.
I didn't recognize him, but I called this show and messed with him on his show.
Yeah, he and Rhonda both were there on Saturday.
Oh, was he?
Yes.
Okay. I'll call this show and ask him that. But Michelle, yeah, the Jeep Wrangler, hey, they boss. No,
I love it, JT. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Appreciate it. All right, hang on, y'all. Just real quick. Somebody hit me up and they wanted to know. It says, hi, Michelle. I heard about the Morgan Freeman Symphony of Blues from Clarksdale, Mississippi will be touring soon. And I think it would be great if they came to Milwaukee. Sent them an email suggesting they come. They are already set to go to Chicago. I would rather see them come here, blah, blah, blah. And so that was back in May. That's crazy that this person sent this to me. And then I didn't even see it. And then they just sent me something today saying, when will Morgan Freeman be here? Morgan Freeman, I said he was going to be at the Ravinia Festival in Highland Park, Illinois, and Morgan Freeman will be there on August 1st, Friday, 7:30 p.m. Tickets, you can go to the Ravinia Festival site, or you can go to StubHub or somewhere, because when we couldn't find tickets available on the Ravinia Festival site, Lakeisha went to Ticket Hub or something, StubHub, and found them there. So look in multiple places. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Yes, good morning, Michelle.
Good morning.
I listen to your show every day. This is one of the few days that I got through to it. I'd like to say hello to Mr. Debo and your whole staff there, and give my condolences to Mr. Gerald Jones' family.
Yes, sir.
I listen at your conversation about the junkiness of your car. My daughter just bought a brand new car, and my ex-wife and I were best friends. And I asked them all the time, do y'all go and borrow junk to go in your car? I hate to. Get in a junkie car even when kids.
I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
That's one of the worst things in the world. Like you say, you go and pay all this money for a car to haul around all the junk in.
And I told him, to me, it looked like how you treat your house too. Because if you treat your car like that, your house ain't far behind. So yeah,
that's right. That's what I say. I'm sticking about. I'm a single parent. I got a 6-year-old son. I'm 71 years old.
Ooh.
But I'm very particular about how I keep my house. Because the way, they say cleanliness is next to God. So, I try to keep it to where if you come by my house, I want you to have somewhere to sit other than the floor and the pile of junk.
Yes, sir.
Well, okay, Ms. Bryant, it's a pleasure talking to
you.
You
too. I appreciate you checking in.
And tell Mr. Debo I do listen to him every Saturday morning.
He hear you. He
and I enjoy his show.
Yes, sir. He got you. Thank you so
right,
much.
You have a blessed day.
Yes, sir. You too.
Hey.
Look, somebody hit me up. They said, hold on now. You are getting in my business now. I have hats and scarves all over my car. Yes, you need to move things to get a seat.
Listen, speaking of vehicles, I just had to go back because I was thinking about the top and you taking the top off your Jeep. One time I had this car. It was a Sebring.
Oh, I remember the Chrysler Sebring.
At the top go down, right?
Convertibles.
So I put the little screen in it, the little TV screen with the music that you play. So it was a nice wireless screen TV. So it was a Sunday afternoon, and I'm dressed for church, right? I'm on the freeway driving to Racine.
I already know.
I'm on the freeway driving to Racine with a suit on, music playing, TV on. I'm riding the Sebring. And all of a sudden, the good Lord decided to bring a rain cloud while the sun was shining. The rain cloud come. Now you know that with those cars, you can't drive and push a button and the top go up. You got to pull over,
right?
Then push the button for the top to go up. When I tell you the rain was cats and dogs, I'm on the freeway, Shell, driving. It's raining on me. I'm driving on the freeway. People laughing at me. I'm in a whole suit, Michelle. Locks getting wet. I mean, just dripping. I'm in a whole suit. People laughing at me. It's raining hard. I pull over to raise up the top. It's taking forever for the top to come up. It's raining. By the time the top came up, it was a puddle of water in the car.
Oh.
And I still had to go to church. I was on my way.
Was you playing?
Yes, I had to play at a service in Racine. I pulled up smelling like mildew. I couldn't go in a church service like that.
But you said you went to work though.
I made it. Smell like mildew.
That's the moral of the story for me. Rain or shine.
Dude.
The postman ain't got nothing on me.
When I tell you these people was riding past me laughing so hard, they was pointing and laughing.
I would have been laughing. Especially if you was clean too.
In the suit.
Because really they not laughing because they was hate.
They laughing like this fool.
Because I look at him, he thought he was doing all of that with his little suit on and the top dropped and that.
In a Sebring.
Yeah. Because I saw a brother on Saturday. He was rocking his Benz and he had the top down. Two-seater.
Yeah.
He had his little shades on. He looked like, y'all see me. Y'all see me. And I was like, the rain all over him. So people hate on you.
Yeah.
And that's what they was doing. So that's why they took such joy. But I will say this, and we've had this conversation before. Clearly, I'm not getting to my other topics this morning. But before, I do not understand how people keep their car down.
Yeah, I don't understand.
I don't understand. It's a small little space. I just can't have all that stuff all around. And again, even a not so great car looks better when you get in it and it's clean.
Yeah,
because it's not just the expensive cars that just by right need to be kept clean. Because you done drop $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 for a car, $50,000, $60,000 for a car, $30,000, $45,000, $50,000 for a car. Like, keep it clean, man. But even cars that show run, that's what I got. So I can get better. It still look better. Got it clean. So, that's my public service announcement for the day. tell people, like, people got clean out your car. You need it. So, people feel glad because they decide to nobody else. It's not for you to get a ride.
For me to ride myself.
And I said, okay, let it be for you. But don't let it be nasty. Clean out your car. So, I'm sorry. Casey goes, my show. Did he shoot me along?
Carry on.
All right, so that's the show for today. Sorry, I didn't get all the qualitative comments. I could have got in, but you know, we need to talk about the office. And again, for Christopher McCray, hope you heal just fine, man. Family, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow, bruhs. Appreciate y'all today. Talk to y'all tomorrow, family. Peace.
Say something real.